In the shadowed heart of an Oregon orchard, where apple trees sagged under the weight of neglect, a family teetered on the edge of collapse. Claire Bennett, a widowed lawyer, watched helplessly as her twin daughters, Lily and Emma, starved themselves, their small bodies fading after their father David's sudden death. The orchard, once David's pride, mirrored their decay, gnarled branches and rotting fruit, a testament to grief's cruel grip. Claire, drowning in sorrow, faced a mother's worst nightmare, losing her girls to silence and hunger. Then came Nathan Cole, a stranger with soil-stained hands and a past cloaked in shame. Hard to revive the orchard, he carried secrets that could heal or destroy. Would his gentle touch awaken the girls' spirits, coaxing them back to life through the earth's quiet magic? Or would his hidden truth, a tragedy of his own making, shatter Claire's fragile trust, plunging them deeper into darkness? As whispers of a town festival grew, a storm loomed, threatening to unearth Nathan's sins. In this tale of loss and redemption, the orchard holds the key to salvation or ruin. Can love bloom where grief has taken root, or will the past choke their hope forever? The morning mist clung to the Bennett estate in rural Oregon, a sprawling property where the once vibrant apple orchard now stood as a ghost of its former self. Inside the cedar-shingled house, Claire Bennett sat at a worn oak table, her coffee untouched, her eyes hollow. Across from her, her 8-year-old twins, Lily and Emma, stared at plates of scrambled eggs, their forks idle. 3 months had passed since David, Claire's husband and the girl's father, collapsed from a heart attack at 45. The loss had gutted them. Lily, her auburn curls limp, pushed a piece of toast away. "Daddy used to make smiley faces with the jam," she whispered. Emma, clutching a frayed stuffed rabbit, nodded. "He said it made breakfast magic." Claire's throat tightened. "Please, girls." "Just one bite," she pleaded, her voice frayed from months of begging. But the plates remained untouched, the girls' faces pale, their eyes sunken. They'd each lost nearly 20 pounds. Their laughter replaced by a haunting silence. As a lawyer, Claire had faced courtroom battles and grieving clients, but this, watching her daughters waste away, was a war she couldn't win. Dr. Larson's words from their last visit echoed. If they don't eat soon, hospitalization is inevitable. Claire had tried everything: therapists, favorite desserts, even threats. Nothing worked. The girls were slipping away, and she was powerless. She glanced out the window at the orchard David had loved, its trees heavy with unpicked fruit, some rotting on the ground. He'd spent weekends there with the girls, teaching them to twist apples free, laughing as juice stained their chins. Now, the orchard was a graveyard of memories. Claire hadn't set foot there since the funeral, unable to face the pain it held. Her phone buzzed, a reminder of a deposition, but she ignored it. Her firm understood her absence, though she feared losing her edge. She was 36, a widow, and a mother failing her children. The girls' grief had become a dangerous spiral. Their refusal to eat a silent rebellion against a world without their father. Claire's own grief was a weight she carried alone, her nights spent staring at David's empty side of the bed. She'd stopped sleeping, her mind racing with what-ifs. What if she'd noticed his fatigue? What if she'd pushed for a checkup? The guilt was suffocating. Outside, a rusty pickup pulled into the gravel drive. Claire's assistant, Rachel, had mentioned hiring a new orchardist after the last one quit, citing the eerie vibe of the estate. Claire barely cared. She muttered to Rachel, "Just keep him away from the girls." Her focus was on Emma, who was now stacking peas into a tiny tower, her thin fingers trembling. Claire didn't notice the man stepping onto the orchard's edge, his boots sinking into the soft earth. She didn't see his weathered hands pause over a dying tree or the flicker of recognition in his eyes as he spotted the girls through the kitchen window. If she had, she might have sensed the spark of hope he carried, a spark that could either save her family or ignite a firestorm of buried truths. Nathan Cole stood at the edge of the Bennett orchard, his broad shoulders hunched against the Oregon drizzle. At 44, his dark hair was streaked with gray, his face etched with lines that spoke of both hardship and healing. He'd been hired to resurrect the neglected apple trees, but as he surveyed the tangled branches and fallen fruit, he saw more than a job. This was a place where grief had taken root, choking the life from both land and people. Nathan's calloused hands traced the bark of a gnarled tree, his mind drifting to his own losses. He'd learned to channel pain into growth, a practice he called therapeutic cultivation, honed over years of mending broken gardens and broken hearts. The orchard was a mess, overgrown weeds, unpruned limbs, and a swing set rusted still, its seat dangling like a forgotten promise. Near the house, a stone path led to a small plaque embedded in the earth, inscribed with Lily and Emma, Spring 2022, in childish scrawl, flanked by tiny handprints. Beside them, larger prints marked Mommy and Daddy. Nathan's chest tightened. He knew this kind of loss too well. Rachel, Claire's assistant, approached with a thermos of coffee. "Those girls haven't eaten properly since their dad passed," she said, her voice low. Claire's barely holding on. Nathan took the coffee, his rough hands warming against the metal. "David was always out here with them," Rachel continued. "Showed them how to graft trees, let them name the apples. Now, even the trees look like they're mourning." Through the kitchen window, Nathan saw Claire, her blonde hair pulled into a tight bun, her suit pristine despite the early hour. The twins sat motionless, their identical faces pale, their eyes distant. Nathan's jaw tightened. He'd seen that look before, in himself, years ago. "Grief's a language kids speak differently," he said softly. "Sometimes it takes someone who's fluent to translate." Rachel studied him, sensing the weight in his words. "What did David love most about this place?" Nathan asked. "The heritage apple grove," she replied. "Heirloom varieties, some over a century old. He'd let the girls pick the ripest ones, eat them right off the tree." She sighed. "Claire won't let anyone touch it now." Nathan nodded, his gaze drifting to the grove, a cluster of ancient trees heavy with fruit despite the neglect. He walked toward it, stepping over fallen branches. The grove was a time capsule, gnarled roots, a weathered bench, a faded sign reading Lily and Emma's Apple Kingdom. Amid the overgrowth, a single tree bore bright, red apples, defiant against the decay. Nathan plucked one, its skin warm from the morning sun. A flicker of movement caught his eye. Two small faces pressed against an upstairs window, watching him. Lily and Emma, their eyes wide with a spark of curiosity. Nathan held their gaze, took a slow bite of the apple, and chewed deliberately. From the distance, he saw Emma's head tilt, Lily's fingers twitch against the glass. "I know what you're missing," he whispered, his voice lost to the wind but heavy with purpose. "And I know how to bring it back." The next morning, Nathan returned to the Bennett estate, his truck loaded with saplings and tools, his mind buzzing with a plan. He'd spent the night sketching ideas for the orchard, blending his therapeutic cultivation methods with the girls' need for connection. The heritage grove, David's sanctuary, was the key. As he unloaded crates, Claire stepped onto the porch, her coffee mug a shield against the world. Up close, Nathan saw the toll of grief her green eyes dulled, her hands trembling from sleepless nights. "Mr. Cole," she said, her voice sharp with courtroom polish but brittle underneath. "I trust you'll stick to the orchard. My daughters aren't themselves since their father's death. They don't need strangers interfering." Nathan nodded, catching the protective edge in her stance, her body angled to guard the house. "Understood, Mrs. Bennett." "I couldn't help but notice the heritage grove. It's still producing apples, good ones. Seems a shame to let them rot." Claire's face tightened, her knuckles whitening on the mug. "That grove's off limits. Rachel should have told you." "She did," Nathan said carefully, his voice low, steady. "But those trees are alive, carrying your husband's work. Maybe tending them could keep his memory close for the girls." Claire's eyes flickered, a crack in her armor. Before she could respond, a soft creak broke the silence. The upstairs window slid open, and Lily's voice, faint but clear, called down. "Are you fixing Daddy's apple trees?" Claire gasped, her hand flying to her chest. It was the first time either twin had spoken to anyone outside the family since David's death. Nathan looked up, his expression gentle but deliberate. "Would you like me to, Lily?" The girl vanished briefly, whispering to Emma. Both reappeared, their faces pressed against the glass. "Daddy said the apples were magic," Emma said, her voice stronger than her sister's. "But we forgot how to find them." Nathan's heart clenched, memories of his own loss surfacing. "What if I help you remember?" he called. "Not today, but when you're ready." The twins exchanged a glance, a silent conversation only they understood. Lily nodded once, quick and decisive, before they stepped back. Claire stared at Nathan, her eyes wide with something like awe. "They haven't spoken to anyone in months," she whispered. Nathan knelt by a sapling, his hands in the dirt to steady himself. "Sometimes the earth speaks when words fail. It's patient, like your girls need someone to be." Claire's gaze softened, but doubt lingered. She turned back to the house, her shoulders heavy. Nathan worked through the morning, pruning the grove with care, leaving the girl's sign untouched. By noon, he noticed the upstairs curtain twitch, Lily and Emma watching again. He picked another apple, held it up, and took a bite, his eyes meeting theirs. Emma's lips curved, the ghost of a smile. Nathan felt a shift, fragile but real. The orchard was waking, and with it, the girl's spirits. Claire, still on a conference call inside, didn't see the moment, but Nathan knew the seeds of healing had been planted. Whether they'd grow or wither depended on trust he'd have to earn, step by careful step, in a family teetering on the edge of hope and despair. Over the next 2 weeks, the Bennett orchard began to stir, as if Nathan's touch had coaxed it from a long slumber. He worked quietly, pruning deadwood, mulching roots, and planting hardy saplings, all while keeping the heritage grove sacred. Each morning, Lily and Emma appeared at their window, their eyes tracking his every move. Claire watched too, her skepticism warring with a flicker of hope. Nathan's approach was deliberate, rooted in his belief that nature could mend what words couldn't. One crisp afternoon, he heard the porch door creak. Turning, he saw the twins standing at the edge of the orchard, their bare feet hesitant on the grass. Lily clutched Emma's hand, their matching sweaters oversized on their frail frames. "Good afternoon," Nathan said, staying low to seem less imposing. "You're out early today." Emma glanced at Claire, who was on a call inside. "Mom's busy," she said softly. Lily pointed to a row of young trees. "Are those new?" Nathan nodded, brushing dirt from his hands. "Planted them yesterday. They're dwarf apples, grow fast, perfect for kids to pick." He held out a small, green apple. "Want to try one?" Lily stepped forward, cautious, and took it. She sniffed it, then passed it to Emma. "Smells like Daddy's pies," Emma murmured, her eyes brightening. Nathan smiled. "Your dad knew apples. These are from his grove's lineage." The girls exchanged a look, then Emma took a tiny bite. Lily followed. Nathan's heart lifted. It was their first food in weeks. "Tastes like summer," Lily said, her voice stronger. Nathan gestured to the grove. "There's more where that came from. Want to help me water?" The twins hesitated, then nodded. He handed them a small watering can, showing them how to pour gently. As they worked, they began to talk about David, his silly apple names, his stories of magic trees. Nathan listened, letting their memories flow. Claire appeared on the porch, phone in hand, her face a mix of shock and relief. She watched her daughters laugh, actually laugh, as they sprinkled water, their cheeks flushed. She approached, her heels sinking into the earth. "Girls, you shouldn't be out here without me," she said. But her tone lacked conviction. Lily looked up. "Mr. Nathan's teaching us Daddy's trees." Claire's eyes met Nathan's, gratitude clashing with fear. "They ate," she whispered, almost to herself. Nathan nodded. "The orchard's waking them up. It's what your husband would have wanted." Claire knelt beside Emma, brushing a curl from her face. "You're eating again," she said, her voice breaking. Emma nodded. "It's like Daddy's here." Claire's gaze lingered on the grove, the pain of David's absence sharp but softened by her daughter's spark. Nathan returned to work, giving them space. By dusk, the girls were picking apples, their laughter echoing. Claire stayed close, her heart thawing. The orchard was no longer a graveyard but a bridge to healing. Yet, as Nathan glanced at Claire, he felt a pang. His own past loomed, a shadow that could uproot everything. For now, he focused on the girls, their small hands cradling apples, their spirits budding like the trees they tended. Fragile but reaching for light. As autumn deepened, the Bennett orchard bloomed with life, its trees heavy with apples, mirroring the slow revival of Claire's family. Nathan became a fixture, his quiet presence a balm. Lily and Emma now ran to the grove daily, their appetites returning, their laughter a melody Claire had thought lost. She found herself lingering after work, drawn to Nathan's steady hands and the way he listened to her daughter's stories. Their conversations grew, first about the orchard, then about life. One evening, under a crimson sunset, Nathan handed Claire a polished apple. "Try it," he said, his voice warm. She bit into it, the sweetness startling. "David would have loved this," she said, then froze, guilt flashing across her face. Nathan's eyes softened. "He's still here, in every tree." Claire nodded, her heart caught between past and present. She was falling for Nathan, but the weight of betraying David's memory held her back. She noticed how Nathan deflected questions about his past, his answers vague. Whispers in town didn't help. At the local diner, Claire overheard murmurs about that drifter working her land. "Heard he's running from something," a farmer muttered. Claire brushed it off, but doubt crept in. Nathan's gentle demeanor clashed with the rumors, yet his secrecy gnawed at her. She wanted to trust him, but her lawyer's instincts screamed caution. The girls, oblivious, adored him. One afternoon, Lily showed Nathan a drawing of Daddy's tree, a gnarled apple tree they'd named King Red. Nathan hung it on the Grove sign, his smile masking a flicker of pain. Claire watched, torn. She saw how he knelt to their level, how he celebrated their smallest victories, Emma's first full meal, Lily's new apple-picking trick. But at night, alone, she wrestled with questions. Who was Nathan, really? Why did he avoid his history? Her heart yearned to let go, to embrace the warmth he brought, but her mind demanded answers. She started noticing small things. Nathan's hesitation when asked about his family, the way he'd stare at the horizon, lost in thought. Once, when Lily asked if he had kids, he froze, muttering, "Not anymore." Claire's stomach twisted. Was it grief or something darker? She pushed the thought away, focusing on her daughter's progress. They'd gained weight, their eyes bright again. Nathan was saving them, but at what cost? She caught herself staring at him as he worked, his flannel shirt rolled up, his hands deftly pruning. He felt like home, yet foreign. One night, she found a photo in David's old desk, a family picnic in the orchard, the girls beaming. Claire traced David's face, tears falling. "I miss you," she whispered, "but they're coming back to me." She looked out at Nathan, repairing a fence by lantern light. Her heart ached with possibility, but fear clung tighter. The town's whispers grew louder, and Claire sensed a storm brewing, not just in the darkening skies, but in the secrets Nathan carried. She wanted to believe in him, in the orchard's magic, in love. But trust was a fragile seedling, and the roots of Nathan's past threatened to choke it before it could grow. The small town of Willow Creek buzzed with plans for an autumn harvest festival, a tradition David had championed. Claire's friend Sarah Thompson, a local baker, spearheaded the idea to host it in the Bennett orchard, hoping to draw Lily and Emma further out of their shell. "It'll be good for them," Sarah said over coffee, her eyes kind but firm. "The whole town wants to help." Claire hesitated. The orchard still a tender wound, but Sarah's warmth and the girls' progress swayed her. Nathan supported the plan, his quiet enthusiasm easing her doubts. "It could be a new memory for them," he said, pruning a tree. Claire nodded, ignoring the unease his secrecy stirred. The town rallied, stringing lanterns across the grove, setting up tables with cider and pies. Lily and Emma, intrigued, helped Sarah decorate, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves. Claire watched, her heart swelling. The girls were eating regularly now, their cheeks fuller, their spirits brighter. Nathan guided them in picking apples for the festival, teaching them to twist gently. "These are for everyone," he said, winking. Emma giggled, a sound Claire cherished. But the festival also brought scrutiny. Townsfolk eyed Nathan, their whispers sharper. "Heard he's got a dark past," a grocer muttered. Claire overheard, her stomach knotting. She wanted to defend him, but his evasiveness fueled her doubts. The festival day dawned crisp, the orchard glowing under a golden sun. Families arrived, children racing through the trees, music drifting from a local band. Lily and Emma wore matching scarves, their eyes wide as they handed out apples. Claire, in a rare soft sweater instead of her lawyer's suit, felt a flicker of joy. Nathan worked the crowd, charming but guarded, his smile fading when a stranger lingered too long. Sarah pulled Claire aside. "People are talking about Nathan. Some say he's not what he seems." Claire's chest tightened. "He's helping my girls," she said, but her voice wavered. Sarah squeezed her hand. "Just be careful." As dusk fell, the festival peaked, lanterns casting a warm glow. Nathan led a storytelling circle, the girls at his side, recounting tales of King Red and David's apple magic. The crowd was enchanted, but Claire noticed an older man watching Nathan, his face hard. She approached, heart pounding. "Do you know him?" she asked. The man's eyes narrowed. "Ask him about Idaho 7 years ago." Claire's blood ran cold. She turned to find Nathan, but he was gone, slipped into the shadows. The girls ran to her, oblivious, their hands sticky with cider. "Mommy, this is the best day," Lily said. Claire forced a smile, her mind racing. The festival had cracked open her family's healing. But it also exposed Nathan to the town's gaze. His past, whatever it was no longer a distant shadow. It was here, in Willow Creek, threatening to unravel everything. Claire scanned the orchard. The lantern swaying in the breeze, their light flickering like her trust. She needed answers, but the girls' laughter anchored her. For now, she'd hold them close, letting the festival's warmth mask the chill of doubt. Tomorrow, she'd face Nathan and the truth, whatever it cost. The orchard, alive with community, was a fragile sanctuary, and Claire feared it might not withstand the storm gathering on its edges. The morning after the festival, Claire sat in her study, the orchard's glow replaced by a gnawing dread. The stranger's words, "Ask him about Idaho," echoed, fueling her resolve. She trusted Nathan with her daughters, her heart, but the town's whispers and his secrecy demanded answers. Rummaging through David's old desk for distraction, she found a manila envelope, unmarked, slipped under legal files. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside were newspaper clippings, a legal document, and a handwritten note from Sarah. "Found this in the library archives. Thought you should know." The headline screamed, "Idaho man guilty in fatal DUI crash, son killed." Nathan Cole, then 37, had driven drunk, crashing into a tree, killing his 5-year-old son, Ethan. A wrongful death lawsuit followed, settled out of court, and a restraining order barred Nathan from his ex-wife until 6 months ago, just before he arrived in Willow Creek. Claire's breath caught, her vision blurring. The man who'd saved her daughters had destroyed his own. She read on, each word a dagger. Nathan's alcoholism, his job loss, his spiral. The note from Sarah was gentle but firm. "He's changed, maybe. But you deserve the truth." Claire's heart pounded. She'd let Nathan into their lives, trusted his gentle hands, his orchard magic. Was it all a lie? A penance for his guilt? She stormed to the orchard, where Nathan was mulching trees, his face calm, unaware. "Nathan," she called, her voice ice. He turned, smile fading as he saw the papers in her hand. "Claire, what's wrong?" She thrust the clippings at him. "This is you, isn't it? You killed your son. You were drunk, and you lied to me, to my girls." Nathan's face crumpled, his tools dropping. "Claire, I don't," she snapped. "You let me love you, let my daughters trust you, knowing this." Her voice broke, tears spilling. "Was this some redemption project? Fix us to feel better about what you did?" Nathan's eyes glistened, but he didn't look away. "I was going to tell you," he said, voice low. "I've spent 7 years rebuilding, in therapy, sober, helping others. I didn't lie about loving you. Or them." Claire shook her head, the papers trembling. "How can I believe you? You couldn't protect Ethan. How can I trust you with Lily and Emma?" Nathan flinched, as if struck. "I live with Ethan's death every day," he said. "It's why I'm here, why I fight for your girls. I'm not that man anymore." Claire's chest heaved, torn between fury and the memory of his kindness. The orchard, vibrant around them, felt like a cruel mockery. "You should have told me," she whispered. "I needed to know who I was letting into our lives." Nathan nodded, his shoulders sagging. "I'll leave, if that's what you want." Claire turned away, unable to answer, her heart fracturing. She walked back to the house, the papers heavy in her hand, the orchard's beauty tainted. Lily and Emma were inside, drawing apple trees, oblivious to the storm. Claire sank into a chair, staring at their sketches, Nathan's influence in every line. She'd seen her daughters heal, felt her own heart open, but now trust lay in ruins. The truth had shattered their fragile sanctuary, and Claire didn't know if love could rebuild it, or if she even wanted to try. Rain lashed the Bennett estate that evening, the orchard a blur of swaying trees and mud. Claire stood on the porch, the clippings still clutched in her hand. Nathan's words, "I'm not that man anymore," clashing with her fear. She'd sent the girls to bed, their innocent questions about Nathan's absence unanswered. Now, she needed to face him. He was in the tool shed, packing his gear, his movements heavy, defeated. Lightning cracked as Claire stepped inside, her hair dripping. "Nathan," she said, her voice steady despite the storm in her chest. "We're not done." He looked up, rain-soaked, his eyes raw. "Claire, I said I'd leave." "You don't have to. I need to understand," she cut in. "Why you hid this? Why you think I should trust you now?" Nathan set down a shovel, his hands trembling. "I hid it because I was afraid," he said. "Afraid you'd see me as the monster I was. Not the man I've become. I've been sober 7 years, Claire. Therapy, support groups, working with grieving families. I rebuilt myself for Ethan, for me, for you. Claire's throat tightened. But you killed him, Nathan. Your son. How do I know you won't fall again? Put my girls at risk. He stepped closer, rain dripping from his brow. Because losing Ethan taught me what's at stake. I have systems, sponsors, routines. I'm not perfect, but I'm vigilant. I love Lily and Emma like they're mine. I'd die before I hurt them. His voice broke, and Claire saw the depth of his guilt. His fight. And you? She asked, softer. What about us? Nathan's gaze held hers, unwavering. I love you, Claire. Not as a project, but as a woman who's strong, broken, real. I didn't expect this. But it's true. Claire's heart ached, torn between his sincerity and her fear. You lied for months, she said. I fell for someone I thought I knew. You know me, Nathan insisted. The man who helped your girls eat, who tends this orchard, who loves you. That's me. My past is part of me, but it's not all of me. Thunder rumbled, shaking the shed. Claire clutched the clippings. Her lawyer's mind dissecting his words, her mother's heart yearning to believe. I want to trust you, she whispered. But I'm terrified. For them, for me. Nathan nodded, stepping back. I'll go if you can't. I won't force you to choose. Claire's eyes burned. She saw the man who'd brought her daughters back, who'd awakened her own heart, but also the shadow of his past. The rain slowed, a faint patter now. She thought of David, his love for the orchard, his trust and growth. Could she trust Nathan's? I need time, she said finally. To think, to know what's right. Nathan's shoulders sagged, but he nodded. I'll finish the festival cleanup and wait for your decision. Claire turned, the clippings heavy in her hand, and walked back through the mud. The orchard loomed, its trees resilient despite the storm. She wanted to believe in Nathan's redemption, in love's power to heal, but fear held her back. Her choice would shape their future, forgive and risk, or protect and lose. The orchard waited, silent, as Claire wrestled with a decision that could mend or break them all. The Harvest Festival's second day dawned bright, the orchard alive with Willow Creek's chatter and the scent of cider. Claire, still reeling from Nathan's truth, kept her distance. Focusing on Lily and Emma. The girls, unaware of the tension, darted through the trees, their baskets brimming with apples. Claire watched, her heart heavy with indecision. Nathan worked quietly, hauling crates, his eyes avoiding hers. The town's warmth, Sarah's pies, children's laughter, felt like a fragile bubble, ready to burst. By afternoon, the festival swelled. Music rising as families danced under strung lanterns. Lily and Emma joined a game of tag, their giggles a stark contrast to months of silence. Claire stood by Sarah, forcing a smile. They're so happy, Sarah said, but her glance at Nathan was wary. You okay? Claire nodded, her throat tight. She hadn't told Sarah about the clippings, unsure how to voice her turmoil. Then, a scream pierced the air. Claire's heart stopped. Emma. She ran toward the grove, pushing through the crowd. Emma lay crumpled beneath, king red, her face pale, her breathing shallow. Lily knelt beside her, sobbing. She just fell. Claire dropped to her knees, cradling Emma. Baby, stay with me, she whispered, panic rising. The crowd hushed, eyes wide. Dr. Larson, at the festival, rushed over, checking Emma's pulse. She's malnourished, dehydrated, he said. We need an ambulance. Claire's mind raced. Emma had been eating, but not enough. Her grief-fueled starvation had weakened her, and Claire hadn't seen the signs. Guilt crushed her. Nathan appeared, his face ashen. I've got water, he said, kneeling with a bottle. He gently lifted Emma's head, trickling water past her lips. Come on, Emma, you're strong, he murmured, his voice steady but urgent. Claire froze, torn between pushing him away and letting him help. Emma's eyes fluttered, a weak cough escaping. Nathan's quick thinking stabilized her until paramedics arrived, their sirens cutting through the festival's joy. As they loaded Emma onto a stretcher, Lily clung to Claire. Is she okay, Mommy? Claire nodded, though fear choked her. Nathan stepped back, giving space, but his eyes were locked on Emma, filled with a father's anguish. At the hospital, Claire sat by Emma's bed, Lily curled beside her. Dr. Larson confirmed malnutrition had caused the collapse, but Emma would recover with care. Claire's relief was laced with shame. She'd been so consumed by Nathan's past, she'd missed her daughter's fragility. Nathan's actions replayed in her mind. His calm, his care. He'd saved Emma. No hesitation, despite Claire's distrust. Back home that night, Claire found Nathan in the orchard, repairing a festival banner torn by wind. She's stable, Claire said, her voice raw. Nathan exhaled, relief flooding his face. Thank God. Claire studied him, seeing the man who'd risked everything for her daughter, despite his own pain. You didn't have to help, she said. But you did. Nathan met her gaze. I love her, Claire. And Lily. And you. The words hung heavy, a lifeline in the dark. Claire's resolve wavered. Emma's collapse had laid bare the stakes. Her girls needed more than protection. They needed love, flawed but fierce. The orchard, silent around them, held their shared history and a choice. Cling to fear or embrace a risky, redemptive love that had already saved them once. The orchard was quiet the next morning, the festival's remnants cleared, leaving only the scent of apples and earth. Claire stood by Emma's hospital bed, watching her sleep. Lily nestled close. Emma's collapse had been a brutal wake-up call, forcing Claire to face her indecision. Nathan's actions, his swift care, his love for her girls, had cracked her fear. She left the hospital, driven by a clarity forged in the night's sleepless hours. Nathan was at the estate, tending to Heritage Grove, his movement slow, as if bracing for departure. Claire approached, her heart pounding. Nathan, she called. He turned, his face etched with exhaustion and hope. Claire, how's Emma? She's recovering, Claire said, stepping closer. Because of you. Nathan shook his head. I just did what anyone would. No, Claire said firmly. You did what you would. And I've been too scared to see it. She took a breath, her voice steadying. I know about Ethan, your past, your pain. I was angry you hid it, but I see you now, the man who saved my daughters, who brought us back to life. Nathan's eyes glistened. I don't deserve your trust, Claire. Not after what I did. You've earned it, she said. You've changed. You're not the man who lost Ethan. You're the man who loves my girls, who loves me. I'm choosing to believe in that. Nathan's shoulders trembled, a weight lifting. I love you, Claire. All of you. I'll spend my life proving I'm worthy. Claire reached for his hand, her fingers lacing with his, rough from work, but warm. We'll prove it together, she said. For them, for us. A soft breeze stirred the trees, as if the orchard approved. Over the next weeks, Claire and Nathan rebuilt trust, step by step. He shared his story fully, his addiction, his recovery, his years of atonement. Claire listened, her heart opening. The girls, now eating heartily. Since the shift, one evening, Lily asked, Is Mr. Nathan staying forever? Claire smiled, glancing at Nathan. If he wants to. Nathan knelt, his voice gentle. I'm not going anywhere, Lily. Spring arrived, and with it, a decision. Claire and Nathan planned a small wedding in the orchard, under the blooming heritage trees. Sarah helped organize, the town now embracing Nathan, his truth softening their judgment. On the day, Lily and Emma scattered apple blossoms, their laughter bright. Claire, in a simple white dress, walked toward Nathan, his flannel swapped for a suit. His eyes locked on hers. They vowed to love through scars and storms, to tend their family like the orchard, patiently, faithfully. As they kissed, the crowd cheered. The trees swaying in a gentle wind. The grove, once a graveyard of grief, was now a sanctuary of renewal. Claire looked at her daughters, healthy and whole, and at Nathan, her partner in healing. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real, rooted in forgiveness and courage. The orchard stood as their witness, its ancient trees bearing fruit that tasted of second chances. Claire knew David's love lived on in the girls, in the land, but she'd found room for Nathan, for a future she hadn't dared imagine. Together, they'd grow, not just apples, but a life. Vibrant and resilient, in the heart of their silent, sacred orchard. A year later, the Bennett orchard thrived under a golden Oregon sun, its heritage trees laden with apples. Their branches a testament to care and time. Claire, now Claire Cole, stood beneath King Red, her hand in Nathan's, watching Lily and Emma race through the rows, their laughter echoing. The girls, now 9, were vibrant, their faces full, their grief softened by love and growth. The orchard was their playground, their sanctuary, its soil rich with memories of David and new roots with Nathan. Claire's wedding ring glinted, a simple band beside David's, a symbol of blended love. The wedding had been a turning point, sealing their family's rebirth. Willow Creek had embraced them. The festival now an annual tradition, each year brighter. Sarah, ever loyal, baked apple tarts for the occasion, her smile warm as she hugged Claire. You've built something beautiful, she said. Claire nodded, her heart full. Nathan had proven his commitment daily, tending the orchard with the same patience he gave their family. He'd opened a small nursery, teaching grieving families to heal through cultivation, his past a bridge to others' pain. Claire, back at her law firm, found balance. Her nights no longer haunted but filled with Nathan's quiet strength, the girls' chatter, and the orchard's peace. One afternoon, they gathered under the heritage grove for a picnic. A nod to David's tradition. Lily spread a blanket, Emma arranged apples in a heart shape. Nathan carved slices, his knife steady, his eyes soft as he watched the girls. Claire leaned against him, her head on his shoulder. "This is what I dreamed of," she said. "Not the same, but just as good." Nathan kissed her forehead. "Better, because we fought for it." The girls ran to them, breathless. "Can we plant a new tree?" Emma asked. "For all of us?" Nathan grinned, pulling a sapling from his truck. "Thought you'd never ask." They dug together, hands in the dirt, laughter mixing with the rustle of leaves. The sapling, a dwarf apple, stood small but strong, its roots a promise. Claire looked at the plaque nearby, Lily and Emma. Spring 2022 inch, and felt David's presence, not as pain but as love eternal. She spoke to him silently, as she often did. "You're still their father, but we've got room for more." A breeze stirred. The wind chimes Sarah had hung tinkling softly, like approval. That evening, as stars emerged, Claire and Nathan sat on the orchard's bench, the girls asleep inside. "I was so afraid to love again," Claire admitted, her voice low. "But you showed me it's possible." Nathan squeezed her hand. "You showed me I'm worthy of it." The orchard stretched before them, its trees a living story of loss, redemption, and renewal. Claire thought of the years ahead, Lily and Emma growing, the orchard expanding, their love deepening. It wasn't the life she'd planned with David, but it was hers. Hard-won and precious. The silent orchard had spoken, its fruit sweet with second chances, its branches heavy with hope. As moonlight bathed the grove, Claire felt whole, surrounded by her family. Her land, her heart. The trees whispered of spring, of growth, of a love that had bloomed against all odds, rooting them forever in the earth they'd reclaimed together. The silent orchard teaches us that love and forgiveness are not the absence of pain, but the courage to plant seeds despite it. Claire, Lily, and Emma faced a grief so deep it nearly consumed them. Yet they found healing through Nathan, a man whose own scars proved redemption is possible. Their story shows that trust is a choice, not a guarantee, a leap taken knowing the ground might shift. Nathan's past, once a chasm, became a bridge when Claire chose to see his growth over his failures. The orchard, like life, thrives when we tend it with patience, accepting that beauty often grows from broken soil. This isn't about erasing loss, David's love remains sacred, but about making room for new growth, blending old roots with new branches. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means believing people can change, that love can be stronger than betrayal. Claire's journey reminds us that protecting our hearts can cost us the chance to heal, while risking trust can rebuild what grief has torn apart. The orchard's lesson is clear. Even in our darkest seasons, hope can take root if we dare to nurture it, trusting that spring will come. Think of someone you've judged, whose past you've let define them. Pause and consider their journey. Have they grown, fought, changed? Reach out today, not to absolve, but to listen. Ask a question, share a moment, plant a seed of understanding. Maybe it's a friend you've distanced, a colleague you've dismissed, or a stranger whose story you've assumed. Like Claire, choose to see beyond the scars. Send a message, make a call, or sit with them in silence. Healing starts small, like an apple seed, but it grows with care. Don't wait for certainty. Act now, and let compassion bloom where judgment once stood. Your gesture could be the sunlight someone needs to grow again.